join with us and let's welcome to the stage Dr. Miles Monroe. Let's give him a hand.
I know that many of you have been traveling for the last day or hours to get here. I know that you probably would like to get a little rest tonight so that you can be prepared for the great weekend that's ahead of us. And so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to give you something to keep you awake. My wife is with me tonight, and I love her with all my heart, my liver, my lungs, my pancreas, and everything within me. And you will be seeing her tomorrow night. She is sitting right there, looking as beautiful as ever. Hello, baby. I love you, baby. Bye. And it's so good to be back with your wonderful president, Mr. Charlie Bolton, and his lovely wife, and the great team here at Eagle Team. I'm proud of the growth that I see at Eagle Team, and I believe that this is just the beginning. Before we move into the 21st century, I believe that 1999 will be the year that Eagle Team becomes one of the largest global companies in the world. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Then we got to prepare for it. And so I want to talk to you tonight about who you are and who you must be in order to fulfill the dream, not only for yourself as an individual, but also for this corporate company as an enterprise. I want to speak for a few moments on the Eagle principle. I'm going to give you a list of 7 principles to approach this weekend with. I'm going to talk about what I learned in my own life from the principle of the Eagle that continues to expand and change my life as an investment in the human race. I'd like for you to listen very carefully to these 7 principles and apply them to your life. I want to begin with a statement that I made last year to remind you that few of us really know who we really are. The wealthiest spot on this planet is not the diamond mines of South Africa. It's not the gold mines of South America. The wealthiest spot on this planet is not the oil fields of Iran or Iraq or Kuwait. The wealthiest spot on this planet is not too far from your house. As a matter of fact, you probably passed it on your way to the airport. The wealthiest spot on this planet is the cemetery. You may ask why. Because buried in the cemetery are dreams that were never fulfilled, books that were never written, visions that never became reality. In the cemetery are paintings that were never painted, songs that were never sung, businesses that were never opened, great men that died as poor men are in the cemetery. My greatest dream and wish for you this weekend is that you will make a decision to not add to the wealth of the cemetery. That you will go to the cemetery completely empty because you have fulfilled the dreams and accomplished the goals and fulfill the vision that you have in your heart before you die. It is my hope that you as an individual will die empty. That you will be able to say, I have done everything I dreamt of doing and I am ready to leave the planet fulfilled. There's a story of a man in my country, where I'm from in the Bahamas. It's a beautiful country. This old man lived in one of our islands outside a plantation where they grew cane. One day he was passing the plantation and looked over the wall, and the owner of the plantation had some men were cutting down a big tree, and the old man looked at the men as they chopped the tree in pieces and threw the logs in a heap to burn. The old man stopped for a moment, and as he watched them throwing the big pieces of log on the heap of fire, he came to the gate and shouted to the owner of the plantation and said, "Sir, is it possible for me to ask you for a piece of that wood that you're throwing away?" And the man said to him, "This is nothing but junk, and this tree is a nuisance. We're cutting it down because it is in the way of our progress, and we want to throw this out of our plantation. It is nothing but junk." And the old man, with a twinkle in his eye, said to the owner, "Can I have a piece of your junk?" The plantation owner was irritated by the old man and says, "Go ahead, take it away. I have no need for this junk." And the old man picked up a large piece of that trunk of the tree and hoisted it on his shoulders, and he staggered back to the village in our island with this heavy piece of junk on his shoulder. He walked into his little cabin and he placed the piece of junk in the middle of the floor. Then he did something that was very rare in most of our lives. He picked up his chisel and his hammer, and he walked around the piece of junk as if he was possessed with some spirit. And he kept stopping for a moment, and he looked at the junk, and he would seem as if he saw something in the piece of junk. And suddenly he took his hammer and his chisel as if he was possessed, and he began to beat the piece of junk with the hammer and the chisel. And as he swung, pieces flew from that piece of junk, and he worked as if he was under a spell, and he kept on sweating and beating and chiseling the piece of junk. And when he was finished, he freed from that piece of junk a beautiful golden eagle. He was so tired and exhausted, at 4:30 a.m. in the morning, he fell among the chips of wood and fell asleep, clutching tightly to the eagle he had freed from that piece of junk. The next morning he awoken, and he took the beautiful eagle that he had chiseled from the junk, and he placed it on the porch of his little hut. A few days later, the owner of the plantation came by in his beautiful automobile, chauffeured by his driver, and as he passed the cabin going toward his plantation, his eyes caught this beautiful bird, and he told his driver to stop the car. And they pulled into the little village yard and asked the old man, "Where did you get that from?" The old man asked, "Why do you want it?" He said, "How much would you take for that beautiful eagle?" And the old man said, for a few moments, with twinkles in his eyes, "I would take $5,000 for that eagle." The owner of the plantation was so excited because he thought that is worth more than $5,000. He took out his wallet and he wrote a check for $5,000, gave it to the old man, and he picked up the eagle and he ran to his car and he said with a great grin on his face, "I got treasure." And as he rode away into the distance, the old man looked at the check and kissed it and said, "One man's junk is another man's treasure." I believe that that piece of stump, that log, is some of you in this room. People think that your dreams cannot come to pass. Your friends and your family and those who work on your job have been asking you for the last 12 months, why are you still with the Eagle team? Why don't you get involved in something that is more secure? Why don't you do something that is more permanent? There's no future in this kind of direct sales business. Why don't you settle down and do something important? But I want you to know that Miles Monroe has come tonight to walk around you, because I see inside of you an eagle that they can't see. I believe that entrapped in every person in this building is an awesome, beautiful bird that no one else can see except the one who created you. And I believe that inside of you is the ability to fly to heights that no one has ever believed you could fly. If you believe that, I want you to give yourself a hand, because you are confident to believe that. You see, the poorest man in the world is the man without a dream. And the most frustrated man in the world is a man with a dream that doesn't become reality. Most men dream, but only a few wake up to fulfill that dream. You are the few. The world has 5.8 billion people on this planet today, and 94,000 was born last night. And most of that 5.8 billion will die never fulfilling their dream. But you are the exception. You have chosen to walk away from the crowd and to not get lost in the norm. You have decided that you deserve the right and the obligation to give your dream a chance. You have decided that you will not die wishing you had done it. You have decided that you will leave the pack and you will become the rare breed called the eagle. I want to give you the 7 principles that separate the eagle from every other bird. These principles are for human application. How do I know this? Because the eagle is the only bird in the entire kingdom of animals that has these 7 characteristics. Strange enough, the eagle is the only bird that the Creator compares himself to. As a matter of fact, it is this bird that he says he relates to in regards to humanity. Years ago when I read that, I decided if the Creator said that he is like an eagle and he wants us to be like him, then I must study the eagle. As a matter of fact, I was attracted to Eagle Team Industries when I got the invitation and saw an eagle on it. Because I said, anybody and any group who have decided to pursue the characteristics of an eagle, they can be my friends. So friends, welcome to Eagle Team 1997. Are you ready for the weekend of the rest of your life? Then the first thing I want you to write down, so you can leave the ranks of the pigeons, is this principle. Eagles fly alone. You will never find eagles in a flock. Eagles do not flock. Eagles are lonely birds. Scientists have studied eagles for many years, and there's one conclusion they came to. You find eagles one at a time. That is why when you decide to fulfill your vision and to fulfill your dream, suddenly the people who used to run with you are no longer comfortable. When you decide to become all you were born to be, then your best friends become your problem, because no longer can they make you who they want you to be. That is why when you decide to be a success the way you were born to be, you suddenly find yourself very lonely. If you are going to rise above the clatter of ducks and the chirping of pigeons, you're going to have to be willing to fly alone. Do not come and join this company if you need the approval of your family, if you need the approval of your community, if you need the approval of your social associations. Because if you're going to be successful, the first decision you have to make is, it's going to be lonely up here. Eagles fly alone because they fly at altitudes other birds are not built for. Are there eagles in this room? Then I want you to join me at the top, because up here the air is thin. Up here where success lies, the air is light. You are built for this altitude. So get used to people disagreeing with you. Get used to people not approving your dream. Get used to your best friends turning their backs on you. Get used to people not believing in your dream, because a true leader and a true eagle knows that loneliness comes with success. But I got good news for you. If one eagle flies at the altitude of an eagle, then guess who he meets up there? Anytime an eagle meets a bird, it's definitely not a pigeon. That is why you have come here this weekend. You've come here this weekend because most of the people you live among are pigeons. And in order for you to maintain your spirit of progress and your spirit of vision, you have to meet with other eagles who will inspire you and encourage you, because if you want to be a success, you don't keep company with failures. People who are going nowhere love for you to go with them. People who are doing nothing with their lives, they love for you to do nothing with them. But if you are going to become all you were born to be, then you've got to find others who also have the same dream. And this is exactly why this convention is so important, because you become just like those you associate with. You become like those you make your friends. You cannot choose your brothers and sisters. You are stuck with them by biological facts. But you can choose your friends. I want you to say to the person next to you, it's good to be sitting next to an eagle. Now say to them, if you are a pigeon, sit somewhere else. Eagles fly alone. Say it with me. Eagles fly alone. One more time. Eagles fly alone. Second principle of an eagle. Eagles possess vision. There is no bird in the entire animal kingdom, and there is no animal in the animal kingdom that has the vision of an eagle. The eagle is a strange bird. They say that an eagle has double sight but one vision. An eagle have been scientifically tested to be able to see 5 miles away in detail. In other words, an eagle 5 miles in the air can look to the earth and see a rodent, a rat, or a snake from 5 miles above the earth. It's the only bird that can fly high and yet see in detail. The eagle, therefore, is known as the most focused bird in the animal kingdom. The eagle has the ability to be aware of everything but only see one thing. Write that down. If you're going to be successful, you must be aware of everything but only focus on one thing. In order to be successful, you must not become a jack of all trades. An eagle is successful in its catch of prey because when it sees its target, even though there are millions of other things around the eagle, from 5 miles in the air, the eagle focuses on the rat and he dives like a bullet toward the rat. And he never takes his eyes off that rat. No matter what kind of clouds he passes through, no matter what kind of wind comes against him, no matter what kind of rain that may be falling, it doesn't matter what kind of trees that may be present, it doesn't matter what kind of other animals are running around him. He sets his focus and he targets his prey and he swoops down like a bullet and doesn't leave the target until he strikes. I want to say to you, many of you have come here and you've lost your focus. You've been discouraged the last 12 months since I saw you last. Some of the people in your downline left you. Some of your people who you thought were going to be faithful and going to be motivated, they're the ones who didn't come through. And you came here hoping that you would hear something to give you encouragement to go back and believe again. But I got news for you. Eagles are not distracted by pigeons. I challenge you tonight, this weekend, to put your vision back on paper and put your goal back in sight and leave this convention saying one thing and one thing only: I won't quit until I strike. Don't allow things that are around you to distract you from that which is in you. And your dream is in you. The third principle of an eagle: eagles only eat live food. This is very important to us. Eagles only eat live food. An eagle does not eat grapes. It does not eat apples. It does not eat dead animals. As a matter of fact, vultures eat dead animals. That's why they're so ugly. Tell your neighbor, now I understand why I'm so beautiful. Come on, tell him. Eagles only eat living food. Why is this important? Because an eagle demands fresh meat because of its metabolism. That means if you are going to ride at the height that God intends you to ride, if you're going to be as successful as you were created to become, if you are going to maintain your height of experience in life, then you cannot depend on old, dead, frustrated, forgotten information. You need every day to feed yourself new, exciting, refreshing information. That is why this organization has provided cassette tapes and videos and booklets and magazines that you receive periodically. Why? Because they know that the people around you are dead food. They're the folks who say to you, are you still in that business? You ain't tired yet? And your answer is, oh no, I just got a tape from Dr. Miles Monroe and I'm ready to go. You need to feed your vision fresh motivation. An eagle needs living food in order to survive, because your metabolism as a dreamer requires food that feeds your dream. That is why I am very cautious about the people who keep company with me. As a matter of fact, there are many people I avoid because I consider them dead meat. There are people in your life who have tried to talk you out of your dream. And that is why it's so important for you to be more protective of your vision than you are in acquaintances. Because not everybody has the same passion for your dream as you do. But there are people in this organization and in this conference today, this weekend, who also have a dream. You need to receive live food. The fourth vision and principle of an eagle, I like this one. Eagles always test before they trust. Eagles always test before they trust. Please write that down. You all may not know about how the eagle mates, so I will give you a little historical review of an eagle's lifestyle. You're going to like this. This is very interesting. Before an eagle mates, the eagle does something that no other bird does. When a female eagle and a male eagle come together and they show interest in each other, the female does something that I hope women will do. And if you do this, you'll probably get a better husband. First of all, the female eagle flies down to the ground. She picks up a twig in a beak, and she flies 2 to 3 miles up into the sky. The male follows her. Then she reaches the height of about 2 to 3 miles, and then she does something strange. She drops the twig, and she just watches the twig. As the twig falls, the male eagle chases the twig, and the faster it falls, the faster he flies. And the faster it falls, the faster he flies. And the faster it falls, the faster he flies. And he tries to target the twig. And he catches the twig in his claws before it hits the ground. And then he takes it back up to the female, and he throws it in the air. The female catches the twig and flies even higher. And then she drops the twig again. And the twig falls, and the male flies behind the twig. He chases the twig with all of his might. The twig falls. The faster it falls, the faster he flies. The faster it falls, the faster he flies. And he comes and he catches it, and he brings it back up to the female. He throws it in the air. She catches it with a beak, and she drops it again. And he flies out to the twig, and they do this for hours. And when the female is convinced that the male is an expert in catching twigs, then and only then does she allow him to mate with her. Wouldn't that be great before you get married? Some of you looking at me funny and say, oh, please, Brother Miles, don't say that. My wife may go out tonight and throw up a twig. Some of you men so stiff with arthritis you can't even catch it, huh? Here is the principle. Don't commit yourself to people who you haven't had the time to test. If you're going to be successful, you don't waste your energy on people who just have an interest but don't have a commitment to your business. Many of you have wasted much time selling your business to people and tried to convince them rather than they coming to you with an interest. And you have spent hours working on some people and now they are no longer with you. And you think sometimes, if I had put those hours into someone else who was interested, I could have had a diamond along with me. When you go back to your town and your city and your workplace, take this principle with you of the eagle. If you're going to be a leader, you must be a tester. Give people a project to test them. Give them an assignment and then see how they catch it. Encourage them by giving them delegated authority to help you do some things, just to check to see if they have the commitment. Because your energy is too important to be wasted on people who have no interest in your vision and in their own vision. Just remember, you cannot give people vision. You can only cultivate what they have already. Give them a test before you give them all your trust. As a matter of fact, trust is a result of time and test. Number 5. An eagle is a strange bird because of this principle. Eagles love storms. Eagles love storms. The eagle is the only bird in history and in the animal kingdom, whenever a storm is on the horizon, the eagle flies toward the storm. It's the crazy bird. Every other bird, when a storm is threatening, they run for cover. The pigeons find a hole, and the ducks find a nest. But the eagle, when it sees a problem or a challenge, the eagle flies into the challenge rather than from it. No wonder why God himself compares himself with an eagle. And then he says, I will bear you up as humans on wings of eagles, because you too are eagles. If you're going to be successful all the way back there, and if you're going to be successful over here, and if you're going to be successful around here, I got one reminder. Challenges are good for a leader. Challenges are good for a dreamer. The question, why does an eagle love storms? Guess why? Eagles grow to the size of 7 feet in wingspan. When a storm approaches, the eagle considers the storm an opportunity to relax. Strange bird. Every other bird runs away, but the eagle runs into the storm because he uses the storm's fury to set his wings and his pinions catches the wind of the storm, and suddenly that eagle is pushed up by the storm and he is able to glide on the wings of the storm without having to work his wings, and so he rests on what others run from.